Right, let's do this. Hello, welcome to the Ramswriter podcast. I'm your host, Simon. So, thought I'm going to do a little bit something different this week. I thought I'd hit a live podcast. To be honest, after the game yesterday, normally I do one pretty much on a Saturday night straight after. I wasn't feeling it. There was so much negativity amongst the fans across social media, and I don't know. It just got to me, and I don't know why, but it did. And it probably shouldn't have done, but it got to me. Because yes, we did lose yesterday. And me personally, I don't think we deserved to lose. I thought we played quite well, especially the second half. Opening 10, 15 minutes, I think we dominated Luton. Then we seemed to, sit off. They started pressing us. The ball would not stick up front at all. It was just bouncing off the likes of Marriott, things like that. He wasn't able to hold it up. Rooney was dropping deep. There was big space in between. There was nothing at all. The balance was off totally. However, come out in the second half and totally different. We conceded the goal. We went 1-0 down near the end of the first half. It's not good. The goal was poor, very poor defensively, and goalkeeper possibly at fault as well. Just a ball, in-swinging ball. Keeper, Marshall is coming out to claim it in his chest. You've got to wipe players out. You've got to make that ball yours. Own that cross. Didn't. Berry gets a touch, knocks it in. But I thought second half we changed things around a bit. Rooney dropped into the CDM role. Sibley came on at number 10. Jozwiak moved to the left-hand side. Now, Jozwiak, wow. Okay, so there was a lot of buzz about Jozwiak before the game. When we signed him, everybody has been going on. Feels like weeks now that it's been going on about Jozwiak. And wow, what a signing he looks like he could potentially be. Very good with the ball, likes to take people on, fast, dynamic. He just seems to be dead shifty, and he just puts his body in all sorts of positions and gets past players, puts balls into the box. Very, very good player. And it was his, he created the goal. He got the assist. And that's what you want. Nice little ball to Bird in the box. He held the ball up, turned around, laid it off. And Jack Marriott finally gets his goal. Something he's been waiting for since January now against Barnsley, the last league goal for us. So that's a positive. Two big positives there. Jozwiak, Marriott. Another call for a positive thing as well goes to Nathan Byrne. We sold Bogle, and a lot of people were like, what we're doing selling our best right back. We've brought in Nathan Byrne for what, 200k, I think it is. If you watch the game, he was up and down that right-hand side all game. Absolute brilliant. He's got one thing in his mind: get the ball and put it into a crossing area. He didn't look to stop and turn and go backwards. He would always try and whip balls into the box. Again, another big positive taken from that game. Yes, positive, good performances don't get you points. We know that, and that's not the issue. We need to get results. Obviously, 4 games now, and we've had 1 draw and 3 losses, and obviously we beat Barrow via penalties after drawing 0-0. And then obviously Reading game was diabolical performance, shocking. So it's a bit, I know, I get it. And then Preston in the cup, again, not the greatest performance. We scored a goal, which was nice night on the score sheet, but ultimately lost 2-1, got beat by an absolute screamer from 30 yards. And then a penalty, which was never a penalty. Never a penalty. Came off Buchanan's head. But I digress. So there was positive to take out of that game. And then obviously the way we got back into the game, you think I never thought we were going to lose that game once we got on level terms. I genuinely didn't. I thought it's 1-1, we're on top. Luton don't look a threat. They did not look a threat in the second half. First half, yeah, they did. They did create some chances. Probably should have done better in front of goal, but didn't. But the second half, as soon as we got that equaliser, I thought, you know what, that's it. We're going to win this game. We had a couple of good chances. I think Sibley missed one from 6 yards out. Just couldn't get his toe on the ball. Jozwiak again put one over from just outside the box. And then 2 minutes to go, we switch off again. Defensive errors. We've got to sort these defensive errors out. We can't keep doing this. It cannot keep happening. We had three men all ball watching. Clark, Forsyth, Wisdom, all ball watching, and the man sneaks in at the back post, free header, 2-1. This game over from there, and it wasn't good. Wasn't good at all. But, social media went nuts last night. Very negative indeed. Again, the Cocoarts, we don't know what we're doing. We've got to stop. For me personally, I think we've got to stop looking at this as a short-term fix. We've tried short-term. Even the club have come out today, which is something they don't really do, and stated that, long-term planning is where we're at, that means getting the contracts for Sibley and for Bird, 4-year deals. Then they're big. That's huge for us to get them tied down to us for at least 4 years, because now they're worth a heck of a lot more to us if we need to sell them. Oh, a few comments coming in. Really Dumpty, Burn, man of the match. I thought it was fantastic. Up and down the right-hand side, really positive. Could prove to be a very smart signing. And Bradley Broadhurst says, I agree. Burn was quality. Great replacement, up and down all game. Yeah. Burn, obviously it was his first start for us. And amazing. One of Koku's signings. In fact, both Koku signings were the two best players yesterday in Burn and Jozwiak. Koku's finally been given a transfer window, because that's one thing he didn't get last season. The summer he came in late, so all the transfers, he probably would have had barely any say in whatsoever. And then in January, he got nothing. We got Taveric on a free to come in the summer. So we had nothing at all in January. And that's the issue. He's not had a transfer window. So we can't be grating on him and grilling on him and going, Koku out, and this is awful, we're going down and all this. Look where we were last season in December. 17th. I think, was it 5 points off bottom three? Look at the turnaround. It can be done. We are without key players. We are without Tom Lawrence. We are without Martin Waghorn, Christian Bielik, Jordan I. We're without all them. There's quality that we haven't quite got yet. But it's coming. But we do need to tighten up at the back. That has been an issue. And I think Ridley Dumpty said it here, comment again. He just said, just need the same thing on the left-hand side now. Forsyth isn't the player he was. Position we are weak in, despite having so many options there last season. Time for Buchanan to step up. Yes. Forsyth's got a lot of stick. And to be honest, it wasn't one of his best games, let's be honest. He was giving the ball away a lot. And yeah, I think, I can't remember their winger's name now, but he had his number pretty much all game. And for me, I think... Yeah, I agree. But Buchanan should be starting. I've said this before the season started, that Lee Buchanan should really be starting on this on the left-hand side. I get why Koku we see him do this with the youngsters. He feeds them in, feeds them out. But I think realistically, if Buchanan's going to get a chance, then he's got to be starting. He's got to be starting regularly. Just give him a run of 3 or 4 games, see how he gets on. Because one in, one out, it's no good for him. So I think, now we've signed, obviously sold Max Lowe, sold our left back. I agree. I think Buchanan should take that starting left back role. Just give him a go. If it doesn't work for him first game, doesn't matter. Don't take him out. Talk to him, which I'm sure they do anyway. Coach him. Let's see if he improves. I just feel a running games for Buchanan, because he's someone like Nathan Byrne. He would go up and down them flanks all game, and it looks as if now I suppose we've got a winger. We potentially could have another one in Jordan Ibe soon, which it depends, because obviously we've got rumours saying he had a medical last week, which wasn't true. Koku though isn't dismissing it, which again is a good thing, which probably means that actually we're in for him. And he is an option. He's a target, but we've got to be clever. We've got to be, sort of, if we're going to get Jordan Ibe, we've got to be creative about how we pay him and all that sort of stuff. But I personally think he'd be a good signing. And I think if I look at a front four of Ibe on one wing, Jozwiak on the other, Tom Lawrence in the centre, wow, that is an attacking threat right there. Your striker then, obviously, who knows? We are looking at strikers. He's mentioned this, that we are looking for strikers. I think I've heard Bobby Duncan. I don't know much about him. A Liverpool player, under 23 player. I think he's only 19. Not quite sure what that's all about. If he's playing for under 23s or if he's being signed for our first team, not sure. But But again, I think I generally think, even Marriott could potentially do a job if he's got the likes of Ibe, Jozwiak, and Lawrence behind him, because Jozwiak was trying to create all the time. I think it's nice for our strikers now that they've got a winger that doesn't look to always cut inside and try and bang the ball in the net. We've got a winger that gets to the byline and puts balls in the box. That's what we've been missing, that sort of stuff. And yeah, Marriott's first touch in the first half was dreadful. It wasn't sticking to him at all, and that was costing us. We couldn't. If it's not sticking to your striker, then you're gonna be back and forth chasing up and down the pitch. But second half, a lot better, a lot crisper, and Marriott rightly got his goal. So yeah, but saying that, now we've got two issues, injury issues. We've got Marriott. It's typical Jack Marriott. He has the worst luck. Scores a goal, finally gets a goal, gets injured. It doesn't look like a muscle injury, but it's obviously, I think he caught a tackle and his ankle's been caught. His ankle's swollen, according to Koku, after the game. So yeah, it's touch and go on that one. It would just be typical Jack Marriott, though. You can't blame him for this one. He's had a good run. He's had a few, good run of games now. But he finally gets his goal and he gets injured. The other one, obviously, is Jozwiak as well. Great debut, lived up to the hype that, all those guys on social media gave him. We expected him to be, we thought, we've seen him play on YouTube clips, and then we've seen a couple of games from Poland, and he lived up to the hype, but then he's taken a knock to his knee, and he says he feels all right. Cocker wasn't really saying, yes, he's okay, but we're just going to wait till Monday, I suppose, and have a scan, make sure he's all right. So fingers crossed he's all right, because that would be a huge blow if we were to get a top player like him in, and then him be injured for a year. It would just be sod's law, wouldn't it, really? Bradley Broadhurst says, Burn and Camille stood out, and that's them new to the squad. Imagine further down the line when they were more settled. Yeah, exactly. That was both of theirs debuts. Well, and obviously Burn played the other week, but this is his first full debut, and they were something else. It was almost like having Andre Wisdom from 2013 back, bombing up and down the wing, putting balls into the box. That's what Burn was like. And like I said, Jozwiak, we could talk about him all day. Absolutely unreal. Ridley says a few more players need to come in, and the likes of Wagor and Lawrence, Beelig and Holmes need to return. If we're still bad, then there's no excuse. But at the moment, we've got to give it a bit of time. Yeah, we do. Like I said, we are missing so many. 4 players there you've named that would make this squad complete, I suppose. And I feel, we definitely need them back once we've got them back, because at the moment I think we're lacking a bit of depth. I mean, we had Hector Ingham on the bench, which is good news for him. It was unlucky, he got a chance in front of goal, but good save from the keeper. I think that would have been brilliant. If that had got him, what a debut that would have been. Well, second appearance, that would have been for him. Lewis says, what's your thoughts on their link with Ibe? It's, to me, I've said this before on my previous shows. I've said Jordan Ibe for me would always be a great shout. And yes, he's had his issues. He wasn't the player he was. Obviously he came to us. I think McLaren brought him to us. 14-15 season. Then Liverpool called him back in December, January time, and I think that changed our season. We missed him. And then Liverpool didn't really play him, which was really frustrating. He then goes to Bournemouth, gets sold to Bournemouth, £16 million, I think it was. And he doesn't tear it up for Bournemouth. You expect him to, I guess, with the sort of calibre of player he is and the team, the standard of team they are. You think, he'll do a good job for him. And it hasn't happened. Hasn't worked out for him, and he's leaving on a free transfer. He's 24 still. So he fits, he's still at that age where he can still be nurtured. And I do personally think that, if we get him, we can, Philip Cocu, Wayne Rooney, they'll turn him around. And if he wants it enough and he wants to play football as his career and continue his career, basically, this could be a big refresh for him, a big restart. And, he could feel like, I get my career kickstarted again now. Because what he could potentially do, if he lights it up for us, again, like he did before, he'll soon have Premier League clubs sniffing around him again, because he's a talented boy. So it's going to work. It's going to work both ways. One, we get him on a permanent for free, so it's a good deal there. Two, he then gets play. He gets seen again. Premier League clubs go, oh, look at Ibe, he's turned himself around. He could be a decent player again. So it works for both parties. It's a no-brainer. And yeah, there is obviously the wages that could be an issue, but I'm sure both parties could come to an agreement. Like I say, we're hearing all the time that it's a done deal at the minute, from various sources, ketchup, barbecue, mustard, that sort of stuff. We're hearing it all the time. But I think Steve Nicholson yesterday after the game said, yeah, he thinks it's very close to being done. So we'll soon see this week at some point. It'd be nice if we get an 8 o'clock announcement tomorrow morning that, welcome Ibe, because then he's probably guaranteed to be playing on Saturday against Blackburn. Fingers crossed. Depends on his fitness, I guess, though. Obviously, he's not played in a while. And yes, obviously, he has had the past of the drink driving incident, etc. But it's one of them things, isn't it? I'm not really read into it or anything like that, but whatever. We helped Tom Lawrence get over his incident. What he did. He's turned his career around with us. He looked like a player before Christmas. I feel that was just sort of on the edge. Wasn't really bothered. Maybe falling out of love with football, falling out of love with the game. But you come January and brilliant, absolutely brilliant form. Really was consistent. We know he's a good player, but he was showing it, and he was showing it consistently. So yeah, that's what I feel about Ibe. Yeah, I definitely think that we should get him and go and bring him in and bring him to Derby, and hopefully get us firing, get us kick started, and get us back, fighting into the top 60. And let's be real as well. It's 2 games. We'll call it 2 league games. To be honest, I'm not fussed about the cup. I'm not overly bothered about the Carabao Cup. Yeah, it's nice to have a cup run, but I think with how this season is and the way the games are all condensed together, I think it's nice to have basically a sort of not be playing Saturday, Tuesday, because I just, we haven't really got the squad depth for that, I feel. So I'm not bothered about the Carabao Cup games. But obviously, yeah, like I say, the league, you look at it now, we're going, oh, we've lost our first 2 games, we're in a relegation fight. What? Things don't change. You look at Luton and Preston at top of the league. Do you think they're going to be there all season? Maybe, but I doubt it. Can't really see it myself. So I just think, yes, as fans, we do like to vent. Normally we do it at the ground, and then that's it. However, we've got no fans anymore in the stadiums, and I think that's why all of a sudden social media has become a very, I suppose, negative, toxic place. It was very, toxic last night. And you're seeing racist comments come out as well, and and tagging players, and giving players stick and slating them and things like this. Dwayne Holmes, he got a load of abuse. Oh, not a load, but he got some abuse last night because obviously he said he came out after his injury. He came out and says, "Oh, it's only a small injury. It's not that bad. But hopefully back soon." And someone went, "Oh, it's been 2 weeks now. I thought you said it weren't a bad injury. What are you lying to us for?" Whoa! What are you doing? You won't go to his face and say that. So just because you're hiding behind a keyboard doesn't give you the right to say that to somebody. I don't get what this whole attitude of, oh, I can talk to this guy, I'm going to be a dick to this guy. No, you wouldn't do it if you met him in real life. I don't know Dwayne personally, but I've got a family member that sees him every single day, works with him. And, he's like one of the nicest guys in the dressing room. So let's, just because you're frustrated because we didn't win a game. And yes, it is, I guess it is, it can be even more frustrating because we lost in the last couple of minutes and a game that we're really dominating. There's no need to go venting at the players. Yes, it's fine having a debate on Twitter, on Facebook. That's fine. Have a debate between fans, but there's no need to get players involved in my eyes. I think that's just out of order. That's my, I would never tag a player in something I wouldn't say to their face. And I'm not going to walk up to someone and go, "Mate, you had an awful game. You're useless, mate. Get out of our club." I ain't say it to a player, so I wouldn't tweet it to a player neither. These guys, and these are footballers. Yes, they do earn a lot of money. Doesn't mean that they have the right to get stick off fans because they lost a game. No need for it whatsoever. Ridley again says, calm down, there's still time. We lost 2 of our opening 3 under Lampard, and Norwich only won 1 of their opening 6. Then we went on to win the title, and unexpectedly, it can be done. It can be. It's worth reminding that at the time, some Norwich fans wanted Daniel Farke sacked, but they stuck with it and quickly gelled together. Yeah, that is, I think I used that example a lot last season, the Daniel Farke one at Norwich. I think his first season, he finished 14th. And then, they stuck with him. They believed in the process, believed in what he was trying to do, trying to bring to the club. And look at him, they obviously, they got promoted and obviously went back down again, but they've still stuck by him. They could have gone, oh, well, you're obviously not a Premier League class manager. But I think Norwich are being very smart in what they're doing. I think they're sort of, we'll go up, that's fine, but we won't spend a load of money or anything like that, because when we come down again, we'll recruit wisely, we'll go back up, try and make a squad. So I agree. Norwich, the Daniel Farke in Norwich is a very good thing to remember. I mean, I think you look at when we went up under Jim Smith, I think we had a really poor start that season, very poor. Then all of a sudden it clicked. Igor Stimac came in and we got battered 5-1 against Tranmere. Away at Tranmere. I was at that game. It was a horrible game, that was. But Stimac scored. But after that, something clicked, something changed, and we just flew up the table. This is football. It's 2 games in. It's 46 games. You're not going to win. One, you're not going to win every game of the season. Even Arsenal, when they went undefeated, didn't win every game of the season. 2, you're going to concede goals. When you've got 2 teams whose essentially end goal is to score more goals than the other team, you were going to concede goals. And generally speaking, a goal normally comes from a bit of class or a defensive error. Take your pick. At the moment, you look at Preston. That was a bit of class for their equaliser, and then obviously it was definitely never a penalty. But again, they capitalised on a refereeing error. And that's two refereeing errors now we've had in the last couple of games. We had that penalty one, and then the only sort of defence I suppose you could give to the third goal, to the Luton's winner yesterday, was the fact that we only had 10 men on the pitch because we were trying to make a substitute. Kaku touched on it at his press conference. He said, "No, we put all the paperwork through. We told the fourth official told the linesman told the ref that we want to make a sub. The ball was dead. Yet the ref said no." That's probably why that's probably why part of the reason why the defence switched off, because they didn't know what was, they thought, are we making a sub? Are we not? Next minute, the ball's down our end and our back of the net. It's not an excuse for the defence, because they've got to stay switched on at that point. But again, shocking refereeing. There's no need for it. David Jarvis says, sadly, social media is a toxic place these days. Easy to hide behind a keyboard. It is. And I think part of the reason I thought, I'm going to do a live today, is because I'm not hiding. So this is just me, I'm showing that, when I do talk, I talk the truth, I don't not necessarily the truth, but I talk my own opinion. And I don't edit stuff out on my podcast, and I'm just showing you that now. This will go out as a podcast if you've missed any of it, or want to re-listen. And I thought, let's go live, because then, if you want to vent here, it's fine. Why not vent? Because we as fans, generally speaking, normally vent to each other. I hear it in the stands behind me. There's a few fans that love to give our players stick, and that's fine. But I tell you what, they'll do it there. They'll go home. They won't go sit online on Facebook and Twitter and go, this guy's rubbish and all this. They won't do that. And I think that's part of the problem, is the fans. Lewis says, was I right in thinking Holmes said he's back on Monday? Yes, I think he did. I think he said he's back in training on Monday, which is a good sign. It's positive. Because, again, Holmes was a player, post-lockdown, he wasn't showing that form he did before lockdown, but he was playing out on the wing. And, again, he's, somebody that can play number 10, or he can sit a little bit deeper in midfield and burst forward. And I think that was the problem in the first half yesterday, is we sort of missed Rooney picking up the ball from, like I said earlier on, he was playing the 10, but he was still coming deep. And And I just don't understand, because I thought, last season Max Bird really shone. Whether he's struggling to try and fill that role without Rooney next to him at the minute, I don't know. Because he doesn't seem, I don't know, he doesn't seem as confident on the ball, I felt, as he has done previously. And obviously he was made captain against Preston in the cup. But I don't mind that. I don't mind that one bit. He's used to being captain. He was captain under 23s. And obviously he's being seen as a future captain. He's been seen as someone we're going to help, we're going to try and build the team around. So, yeah, I'm all for Max Bird being captain. But obviously when you've got the captain's armband on, you have responsibility. And if you're playing poor, you're not going to be sort of, what's the word? Your players, the players that are looking up to you as captain, they're going to be sort of struggling. Go, well, he's playing poor, and I'm just not feeling it from him. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to explain. So yeah, I think, but when Rooney dropped back with him, he looked a different player. So whether it's because obviously Shinnie, he's more of a box-to-box player who would like to push forward, etc., things like that, and I think Bird does as well. And I think when he's playing with Rooney, he knows Rooney's quite happy to sit back and let Bird get forward. So maybe that's been an issue with Bird. Again, I think it's just finding that right balance of the squad, especially with those players missing. But the thing is, when these players return from injury, like the likes of Bielik, £10 million player, surely he's in that starting lineup. But who's he come in for? Does he come in for Bird? Does he come in for Rooney? Does he play as a centre back and come in for Taveric or Clark? Again, that's a potential headache for Philip Cocu. Again, same with Lawrence. I think Lawrence gets back into the squad when he's fit. Obviously, we don't know when it's going to be. He's dislocated his shoulder against Leeds. He's still obviously suffering with it now. And I've dislocated my shoulder before, and obviously he must have torn some ligaments or something in it to be out this long. But he's back. I've seen him back training, doing non-contact stuff. I prefer Bird playing further forward and Rooney dictating things from deep. Yeah, I think you're right. I think we saw that. Was it against Swansea last season? I think Bird was incredible that game, and that was, again, he got forward. When he's playing in and around the opponent's box, he looks good. Like I said, he was that player that knocked the ball into Jozwiak yesterday. Before a lovely little ball between the midfield, the midfield defender on the edge of the box, into Jozwiak, and obviously Jozwiak nice turn and Marriott to finish. So yeah, I agree with you, Ridley. Rooney's got to be that anchor man. I think I said about him, if need be, would we put him at striker? I thought, why not play him centre forward? Play him as that sort of target hold-up man, because he's not going to do an awful lot of running. A lot of people saying to me, he's not got the legs anymore. He's not got the pace. Well, let's face it. Chris Martin had no pace. Chris Martin wasn't going to press all game, but he still did a great job for us. And it's sad now. As a lot of us, I think, are feeling it because he's moved to Bristol City, and obviously he scored the other day, assisted today. And a lot of people are going, why did we let him go? And you get the people going, let him go, he's gone, and all this. He didn't want to stay. Clearly, he wasn't loyal to us. Hang about, right? The Chris Martin thing then was never sort of, essentially then they offered him a 1-year deal with like a load of incentives, like bonuses and stuff like that, but also an extension, but only if the club chose to give him one. So Chris Martin ultimately said, no, I just want a 2-year deal. I'm not bothered about bonuses. Just give me a straight 2-year deal. Let me have that sort of, I guess, security in his career. That's all he wanted. Obviously, the age he's getting at, he wants that security to know he's got at least 2 more years of playing. And that didn't happen. And a lot of people go, why is Cocu letting him go? Cocu won't be making that decision. He's not the one who gives out the contracts. He probably would have gone to Mel and said, look, please, can I have 2 years? And Mel's gone, no, he's got no sell-on value or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's a bit, definitely wasn't Cocu who let him go. Cocu wanted him to stay. And I think Chris Martin, he said himself he wanted to stay, but I can't blame him for leaving. And, good luck to him at Bristol, and he looks like he's slotted in well there, to be honest. But we need to replace him. So hopefully, Koku said we're looking abroad, but also in England for a replacement, a replacement striker. So fingers crossed, the next couple of weeks we'll get that striker in. Just comments. So Lewis, I read that Lawrence had to have an operation on his shoulder. Not sure how true it is. Yeah, I read that too. To be honest, which doesn't surprise me. If you do dislocate your shoulder. There's all obviously ligaments and stuff and things like that. And if they generally, when you dislocate your shoulder, what happens is your ligaments stretch. That's why your shoulder pops out. But what also can happen is your ligaments tear, rip. So yeah, that wouldn't surprise me if he's had an operation, and that is why he's been out for so long and recovering. But yeah, again, fingers crossed he's back soon. Lucy Axe says, "Hey Simon, hope you're well and good." Hi Lucy, yes, I'm very good, thank you. You've not told me what you made of the game? You're normally my match analyst. Come on, give me your analysis. But I suppose now we look forward to Blackburn. Again, we got to hope that we've got enough players fit, like the likes of Jozwiak. I'm guessing Marriott's probably not going to be fit. In all fairness. So who starts up front? Does Rooney start up front? What about Hector Ingram? Obviously, he came on. Oh, that's a good question, David. Should we be looking at taking on loan signings or actually buying a permanent striker? I guess it all depends on fun. Ideally, I'd like us to sign a striker permanently because let's face it, I think Marriott's contract's at the end of its tether this year. So is Waghorn's. So yeah, we've got no strikers come the end of the season apart from Hector Ingram and potentially Morgan Whittaker as well. He can also play there. So, but ideally, you'd want a permanent signing. If we can't for any reason get one in this window, then yeah, let's get a loan in. If then in January, let's try. I suppose January is not really the best time to get a striker in because obviously prices inflate, but it will be weird to see or fun to see, really. I suppose what will happen with the way this COVID and stuff is, how the transfer window will go, especially in sort of January. Ideally, I'd prefer to get somebody in on a permanent deal, which hopefully that's what we're looking at. Obviously. Again, Koku is very, very, very quiet when it comes to transfers. He doesn't give much away. Doesn't like to sort of say who's coming, who's going, and it's like the odd thing is, again, didn't really give anything away. Very good poker player. He did cough though when he was asked about it. It generally is a sign of when someone's lying, is body language and all that stuff. Aha, Lucy, there you go, Lucy. So she says, I thought we were poor in the first half. We came out a little better in the second half. Glad to see Marriott back on the score sheet. Hopefully that will start to build his confidence back up now. And don't reckon it was a pen for Preston either. Yeah. No. Thank you, Lucy. See, every week without fail. So yeah, like I say, Blackburn then. Give me your guys that are watching live. Let's see your team, your starting lineup for Blackburn. I'd quite like to see that because I think mine. Yeah, we'll carry on with Marshall in goal. I could go on to that. I generally could go on to Marshall Rouge, but I'm not going to. That's a debate for another time. Though I'm only joking. So Marshall in goal, left back. I think we've got to go Buchanan. Centre back, obviously Clark. Now, does Taveric come back in or Wisdom? I think I'm going to stick with Wisdom. I think he played quite well yesterday. I remember him stopping a certain goal with an absolute inch perfect tackle. Right back, obviously, is Byrne. And then I would literally go the midfield too of Rooney and Bird. Jozwiak on the left. Sibley is the 10. I think I've got to go Jason Knight. I think Jason Knight is, bearing in mind he's playing out of position, he just... I think on the wing, he sometimes goes missing in games, especially if it's not going up his side, obviously. But I think I go Knight on the right wing, and then again up front, if Marriott isn't going to be fit, we've got to go Hector Ingram, I guess. He's the only viable option. So Hector Ingram for me. So yeah, let us put down who you think or who you'd like to see as your starting 11. Do we switch formation? Do we go to 3 at the back or something like that? I'm interested to know. David, I'd rather sign a permanent striker than develop a Premier League club. Yeah, I get that. I'm tired of developing all these players, these Premier League players. We've seen Tomori, Mount, both had England call-ups, England caps, whilst developed by Derby County. It's frustrating. Obviously, Wilson, he got a Premier League loan. He's looking for a club though now, isn't he? Still, so that's a very interesting one. I think Liverpool, obviously trying to sell him. I think he's a bit out of our price range, though. Really, as nice as it would to have him back. Lewis is 11 for Blackburn. Marshall, Byrne, Wisdom, Clark, Buchanan. Bird, Rooney, Jozwiak if fit. Whitaker if Wozka isn't fit. Sibley, Knight, Marriott if fit. If not, Marriott. Oh, yeah, Jamal Hector Ingram if Marriott isn't fit. So similar to mine. Ridley says Marshall, Byrne, Wisdom, Clark, Buchanan, Rooney, Bird, Knight, Jozwiak, Marriott, hopefully, and Holmes. Yeah, I wonder if Holmes is back training, there's potential that he could be match fit. Well, not match fit, but maybe at least to potentially start, give us an hour, something like that. Because we do miss him when he drives. He's someone that can drive forward out of midfield. He's not scared to take players on. He's got a little bit of a dance and a little bit of a jive in his locker. Lewis has changed his mind. I see you've changed your mind now, Lewis. He says if Holmes is fit, I'd play him over Whitaker if Jozwiak isn't fit. Yeah. Fingers crossed that Jozwiak is fit. Again, it'd be nice if we could get someone like Jordan Iben, a nice little cheeky transfer, get him starting. Lucy says she'll have Marshall, Byrne, Clark, Wisdom, Buchanan, Rooney, Bird, Jozwiak, Sibley, Marriott if fit, if not Hector Ingram. You've gone Sibley twice there. I know he's a good player, but I don't think we can't be having two of them. Yeah. This potentially could be the big chance for Hector Ingram. If Marriott isn't fit, Hector Ingram, we've seen him bag goals for the under 23s. A lot would say he's a bit of a penalty merchant. At the end of the day, a penalty is a penalty, a goal is a goal. But again, this is where again, he left West Ham. Obviously, he's only 22, something like that. He's not. He's not. He's not. You know what I mean? He can still play in the 23s, but he's at that stage where he wants to be getting first team football. Lewis has read my mind. Lewis has just said what I was about to say as well. So yeah, now and obviously he left West Ham to come to Derby. Jamal Hectoring did, and basically try and get some first team football. Well, now's his chance. Now's his chance to Cocker to say, look, this is why you should start me. Like I say, he looked lively when he came on against Luton. Lucky not to score. But the other person is potentially, as Lewis is pointing out, Jack Stretton. Jack Stretton is, I believe, he's a player that even when I had Ryan Conway on my show a few months ago now, he touted him as somebody that could be the next sort of breakthrough striker. Yes, Jack Stretton, I think he's another youngster. I think he's 18, 19. But he's another one that potentially could step forward. And this is where we're at now when it comes to strikers. When you start talking about it, thinking about if he gets injured, who are we going to put in? Yeah, he's 19, I believe. Had a few Scotland youth call up. Yeah, he is. I know. Yeah, he's Scott. Yeah, cheers, Lewis. Thanks for clearing that up, mate. I forgot about he was Scottish as well. But this is where we're at now. Strikers. We desperately need a striker. As well, I think I put on Twitter last night, I think, do we need to get a left back in? Is Buchanan good enough with Forsyth as backup? Or Forsyth with Buchanan as backup? Or obviously we've loaned out Malone on his last year of his contract, and obviously sold Max Lowe, which leaves us Buchanan and Forsyth. Do we need a left back? Thinking about yesterday, Lewis Cocker had Stretton involved in almost all the pre-season squads. Yeah, I thought he did actually. I thought I'd seen his name. So he's obviously on Cocker's radar. So potentially Jack Stretton could be coming through Obviously, give him a few games in the under-23s first. See how he gets on. If he does well, yes, bring him to the first team. But yeah, left back. I think we may need to look at maybe getting a left back on loan. I wouldn't buy one just because obviously then, I think Forsyth's got 2 years left in his contract, and obviously Buchanan there. I think, yeah, let's go loan a left back potentially if we can, because I think we need that security. I think we need someone that can. Forsyth, bless him, right? He's had two ACL injuries, 3 ACL injuries. He's got a bionic knee. Let's put it that way. He's not the player he used to be. He's not that player that's going to get up and down the line and put balls into. He can't do that now. Not as regular as he used to do. So for me personally, I would try and look at loaning out a left back if we could. I just think we need to. Sam Byron, the ex-Leeds fullback, that's not a bad shout. Can we go get Stuart Dallas instead? Quite like him. He scored 2 against us in the semi-final. He's a left back, I'm sure he is. But yeah, Sam Byron, that's not a bad shout, Lewis. I take class. Dallas is class. Is he playing for Leeds at the moment? I didn't really look at the team. I don't think he played last week against Liverpool, did he? Yeah, but I doubt would get any have any favours off Leeds. But yeah, Stuart Dallas for me was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So I used to want him, and I used to want Doherty from Wolves as well. That would have been nice a few years ago before he came amazing. So yeah, I do feel we need a left back. I just think if we are going to be looking at pushing for top 6, maybe even top 2, I'm being over wishful thinking there, but we do need some cover at left back. We really do, because I just don't think Fozzie's up to it playing 46 games. And again, Buchanan only young, but he's got the potential. The potential is there, but obviously, again, I think we've seen with Nathan Byrne. Obviously, he's 27, I think it is. He's got that experience. He's got that. He can defend and attack. He stops crosses coming in as much as he can. He gets into good defensive positions, but again, he's got it going forward. Lee Buchanan's brilliant going forward. Again, there's question marks over his defensive abilities. Max Lowe, I believe, a lot. It was weird because some people think he's rubbish. Well, obviously he's not. That's why Premier League clubs had him. But I believe he had something like the most tackles or something like that. Yeah, he was very defensively sound. I just don't think he was consistent enough in getting forward and putting balls into the box. Really dumpty. I'd get a left back in, presume we're getting Ibe, then a striker, and we should have a top 6 quality squad, maybe even more. The depth is there. Exactly. I think that's where I know. Obviously, funds are tight, unless the rumours that flew about on Twitter last week are true that we're having a takeover, or now sold the club or whatever. There's all sorts cracking off last week on Twitter. But yeah, if we can afford it and it's financially viable and we can get a left back in, Iben, and a striker, I do think we can be dangerous, and I think we can be challenging for top 2. Also, I think do we? You've done it again, Lewis. What's cracking off? Oh no, you haven't. I thought you haven't. So from what Shino was saying, Lee Buchanan absolutely loves defending. Yeah, he needs to show that in a game. I'm not saying he doesn't like defending. I just think because he did play quite a few games at centre back for the 23s. But I think it's your defensive positionally wise is different when you're playing as a left back as opposed to a centre back. But another person I was going to say is potentially could fill that left back role in, but I can't really see it, is Graham Shinney. He played left back for Aberdeen quite a few times, so he has experience as left back. Obviously, he's not an out-and-out left back. Could he do a job? Could he do a job at left back? We know he likes to tackle, and we saw him get forward, against Preston. I don't know. All of a sudden, he became Lionel Messi. What was, he took on two players and bombed up the pitch. Lovely ball back to Knight, and then eventually got scrambled home. And yeah, so potentially Graham Shinney could go at left back. But I just feel though a left back is somebody that I think a striker is more important without doubt. But I wouldn't rule out getting a left back neither. Really dumped it. I'd try Shinney at left back if it suits his game. Don't know if Cocker was thinking about that though. Yeah, I can't see him. I can't see Koku thinking about putting Shinnie at left back, but it's always an option that obviously we fans know about, and I'm sure Koku knows about. But yeah, he's probably not thinking about it because, again, Buchanan is somebody that's there who can be developed, and that's obviously what the remit is. There's a reason, I keep saying this, there's a reason Koku is here for 4 years. The Koku signed a 4-year contract. There's a reason that Derby put out the article they did today about, obviously, the long-term plan. That really, for me, was them saying, no, Koku's in here for the long run. When he first signed, this was a project. And let's be honest, we've tried the quick fix. It didn't work. We failed multiple times. We spent, and now we're financially knackered, to put it one way. And so, essentially, what Koku's had to do is similar to what Nigel Clough did when he came in. When Nigel Clough came in for when we got obviously relegated from the Premier League, he had to shrink the squad. He had to get the high earners off the wage bill. He had to get in players with little to no funds. So we're sort of going through that process again. Now, it took Nigel Clough a good couple of years. It took him, 2 years? No. Yeah. But yeah, it took Clough about 2 or 3 years to get the squad to where it was, to where it can be sustainable. And then McLaren came in, and obviously we know what happened there. Got us that close from the Premier League. Koku's now going to do it. We know Koku, he's a top-class manager, he's a top-class player. His CV speaks for himself. Let him build. Because the club are going to let him build. The club are going to give him time. They're not in for this. One, they can't afford to sack him, I don't think. If they've got to pay him off 2 years off his contract or whatever. And the club need him. The club's seen what he's done at PSV with promoting youngsters. Koku can only work with what he's got and only improving what he's got. If the players aren't good enough, they're not good enough. Last season, he did his best. We saw what he can do. And for those fans that want the quick success, then maybe you need to stay away for a little bit, because success may not come this season. But this is part of the process. Last season was about building the foundations. Last season was about getting the youth players through, the likes of Sibley, the likes of Bird, the likes of Knight. This season, again, is about bringing them up, building them up, getting some experienced players, getting some good players around them, like the likes. Again, Jozwiak's only 22, so he's still a young player, a young signing. The $3.5 million for him looks like an absolute bargain if that's what the price obviously has been touted about is. So he's doing the right things. He just needs time. Again, we said this last season. We need time. I'm going to say it again this season. He still needs time. You can judge him, I suppose, at the end of this season how well you think he's done, because he would have had 2 transfer windows. He's had this one, and at the moment, a lot of people are saying if we can get, obviously we've bought Marshall and we've got Taveric, we've got Byrne, we've got Jozwiak. If we can get Ibe and a striker in, a lot of people are saying that this is potentially going to be one of our best transfer windows we've had in a long while. And I think they could be right, because they're all young, hungry players that are coming in. And you've also got the experience of Marshall, the experience of Taveric, the experience, I guess, of Byrne. So he's fitting the bill. We're getting these players in. Byrne, quality. Jozwiak, quality. Taveric, again, we've only seen him have 2 games. The Taveric one, some people have judged Taveric off 2 games. 2 games as a centre-back in this league, it's totally different to what you're used to. You've got to build a good partnership as well with your partner. Obviously, it looks like Clark seems to be the first sort of one that gets on the team sheet. So, it's going to take them a few games just to get to know where each other is and stuff like that. So we're still building. The roof's not ready to be put on yet. So say this season we finish outside the playoffs. We finish outside the playoffs. It's fine. But next season, I've said it all along. I reckon season 3 will be the season we really get that push, and that'll be the season we see all the success. I'll just read through some of your questions then. Ridley. I'd try shooting at left back. It suits his game. Don't know if Cocker was thinking about that. I've said that one already. Lewis, definitely need a striker and a winger. Bringing a left back if there's a budget left. What are your thoughts on Evans? Very much in and out. Can't seem to hold a place down. I thought Evans has done well when he's come in. I think obviously he signed a new contract, and I think he was probably there to be that sort of cover player, I suppose, if you need that utility player, because he can play centre back. He played well. I think when he played against Preston the other night, he quietly went about his business, to be honest. I thought he did, he just sort of sat in that CDM role and, tried to break up play. And I think he did quite well. I think he's definitely going to be a squad player. And I think he knows this. But again, he's somebody also that could potentially have a sell-on value because obviously he's still only 23, 24. David Jarvis, do you think the FL appeal will affect us in the transfer market again? No, the appeal is not. Obviously, when the charges were first done, we were on a soft transfer embargo, but the appeal has not affected that. The appeal is, this is like I've said before, if you walked out of court free of all charges, you wouldn't then end up back in the nick because someone's appealing your case. So no, it won't. It's not affecting our transfers. I think it's obviously we've got to be smart. We've got to be quite thrifty, I suppose. And get those transfers in. Ridley just we found out. We found not guilty. There's no transfer embargo. Really, again, reason why we're having to build long term is because of the mismanagement and failure to get promoted in the past. Lampard's season was the last throw of the dice in terms of spending, and we fell short. Yeah, I agree. It was obviously we didn't really spend much with McLaren. Obviously, he took over in the 14-15 or was it 15-16 when Clement came in? No, it was it. Yeah, obviously Mel Morris took over in 14-15. Didn't really give McLaren a great deal of cash to go out and spend, but then went and spent big with a rookie manager in Paul Clement. And rather than going buying these players now, then these good young quality players. We just went and fished in the championship market. Oh, Bradley Johnson, good solid championship player. Let's get him. Jacob Butterfield, good solid championship player. Let's get in. Stephen Warnock, oh yeah, Premier League experience. I think we could do with him. Let's get him. We just went for crap like that and high wages, and that's what that essentially is what Derby became. Derby became a place where players came for a big paycheck because they knew they were going to get it because they knew we had money. Nick Blackman, another one. He had a purple patch of red, and we went and bought him. He was awful for us. So I think it broke up. Spending massive broke up the sort of bonding the team had from the playoff from the 13-14 season, the 14-15 season. It broke up that camaraderie, and it sort of we brought egos in, and when you get to a playoff final, 13-14. 14-15, you sat top of league and then you miss out on playoffs on the final day. And then all of a sudden the season after, all these players come in and they're all of a sudden earning big wages, a lot more than you are. It will affect the dressing room. It will. No doubt. No doubt whatsoever. So I think that's what happened. And obviously there was the whole Pearson debacle. Let's bring McLaren back. McLaren got told he would have no funds in January. He said that's fine as long as I can have some in the summer. And then Mel sacked him because of the poor performance against Brighton. For me, that was a bad idea. Should have kept McLaren on, but obviously Mel thought, Gary Rowett's the next manager to get us promoted. Yeah, that didn't work out. Again, Rowett, another person that decided to buy experience. Obviously, bought Tom Lawrence, but obviously bought Huddleston, Davis, all on high wages. Pearson, another one, bought Anya and Vidra again. They would have been high wages. And then, like you say, Lampard came in, and he was sort of we've seen how he's throwing money around at Chelsea. He was doing that at Derby, but he had to sell first, and we had to get that big sale of Vidra first for him to allow them to do that. He did throw money at it. Obviously, got in 3 quality loan players, and that was the season. That should have been the season we got promoted. Really, you think you'd had all the momentum going into the playoffs, and to lose it the way we did because he didn't play a striker and all this. But that was our last show of the dice. So now it's time to rewind. Let's start again from the absolute scratch. Lewis, I like watching Evans. Just think if he got rid of games in the team, he would show us something else. Yeah, potentially he could. He does. Like I say, he just seems to go about his business. He's not one of these players that you see standing out, but he just seems to go and do a job. It's a bit like Wisdom. Wisdom, for me, a lot of people who listen to the show regularly. I love Andre Wisdom. I always have done. But he's just that sort of player that he just goes about his business and just does what's asked of him. And I quite like it. If we finished 10th last season with a really poor first half of the season, no real transfers and no Rooney until January, why can't we push on this year and finish 6th? There's no reason we can't. No reason we can't do that, Again, it's going to be a similar squad, apart from we've added the likes of Burn. Again, I think the main issue really is the striking option. We're missing Chris Mine. Personally, I understand why Cocu wants wingers. Again, I wouldn't be surprised to see us switch to a 4-3-3 if he got the wingers in. Again, that's going to lead to more selection headaches, but we're going to have a lot of squad depth regardless. But even if we stuck to the 4-2-3-1, with wingers, even if we didn't get someone like Iben, if Wagon comes back again, you've got him who could play right wing. Did a decent job there last season, to be honest. Jozwiak on the left. I think the main key point is getting a striker because we've not replaced Chris Martin. We've not replaced our joint top goal scorer. It's criminal, really. Again, he's gone. That's 12, 13 goals. I think it was. He got Wagon. He got 13 goals as well. Lawrence 10 goals, 11 goals was it? That's 30 plus goals gone right there at the moment. So we are missing goals. We are missing strikers. We are missing goal scorers. Get them in and we'll be fine. I think a lot of people have got the same thought as me and Ridley there that, we will be fine. We'll be absolutely fine. When we get our players back, we'll be fine. We'll be all right. I've got no fears of relegation or anything like this season. Let's get the bad run out of the way now. We normally get it after Christmas. Why not? Let's do it now. Let's get it gone. Get rid of it. And Lucy says, I think if we push on and put in the effort and performance this season, I think we can get top 6. But if we finish out of the top 6, then it's not a problem. We can hopefully take note and push on the season after. Yeah, we can. We all would love to get playoffs this season. Of course we would. I thought we were going to get it last season. I generally think had COVID not come and suspended the season for 3 months, we would have got playoffs. We would have got top 6. I believe that. I know we had the tough run of the Brentford, the Leeds, and Forest, and all that. But I believe we would have had the momentum. We would have had the fans, and we would have been able to push on and get top 6. I felt it last season. We could have done it. Yeah. Well, Lewis says I think without a lockdown we would have gone up. We're not going to lie. I do as well. Everything seemed to be going for us. Everything. We were playing great football. We were scoring goals. I know we lost against Man U, but the performance from the likes of Sibley was there for see. And then he comes in against Blackburn and smashes one in the top bins. It was there. I generally felt that last season we potentially could, we could be that team that comes out of nowhere and goes up, and that would have been immense if we'd done that. So we all know what we're capable of doing. We all know that. Again, it's just about this season. It's just about starting again, getting it going, getting the players in. I agree. Last season, I said we would have got top 6. We were playing better and better up until lockdown. Everything was looking good, and then Lewis says everything clicked and we were class. Yeah, we were. We were class. That game against Blackburn. Apart from the opening 5 minutes when Ben Brereton smashed one over the bar, we dominated that game. Sheffield Wednesday, we dominated that game. We were playing unreal football at times. And for me, I just felt that was it. Fulham, Sheffield Wednesday, and Blackburn all good performances. Yeah, Fulham, very unlucky against Fulham. We just couldn't put the ball in the net. Rodak, obviously, we had an absolute stinker at Barnsley the week before, decided he was going to have a blinder against us. Absolutely insane. Absolutely mental. But yeah, Lewis says once it clicks this year, we have nothing to worry about. Yeah, no, you're right, Lewis. Absolutely right. And I'm going to finish it on that now. Thank you to all you guys that have joined me and got your comments in. It's been brilliant. I might do this again, actually. I quite enjoyed it and quite enjoyed interacting with you. But yeah, I just thought let's have a bit of an event, get things off your chest, and it's nice to have some positivity. I know it's nice to see that it is out there. Obviously, we do see a lot of negative stuff on Twitter, Facebook, and all that. People venting and having a rant after. So I'm all if you're gonna have a rant, have a vent, have a rant. It's fine. Just keep the players out of it. There's no need to start tagging players and all that stuff. But again, I said it once, said it before. Be patient, and we will reap the rewards. And Cocker will take us. He will get us to the Premier League. I firmly believe that. I believed it since we first signed him, and until he goes, and I'll keep believing that. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening. It's been an absolute pleasure having you join me today. If you're not following me on Twitter, I'm Ramswriter. Follow my Facebook page, the Ramswriter Podcast. Instagram, the Ramswriter Podcast as well. Again, like I said before, this will be on as a podcast on Spotify, iTunes, all the major platforms. So it'd be nice if you could like and share it. That'd be blinding. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I shall see you next time. And as always, come on, Derby.